Hey everybody, Professor Benelou here with the third of three short videos discussing Unit 2 discussion board. In this video, we'll be going over the women's rights movement, the Chicano rights movement, and the Black Power movement. All right, so the document that you will be analyzing in the women's rights movement topic is the founding document for the National Organization of Women. This was a group formed in 1966. It was inspired by the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to fight for gender equality. Founding members now include such important women like Dr. Polly Murray and Betty Friedan. Murray was actually a law professor who was also a member of the President's Committee on the Status of Women, and Friedan was very famous for her 1963 book, The Feminine Mystique. Okay, Friedan actually it's a really neat thing. She surveyed women that she had graduated with from her alma mater, Smith College. And through this survey, she found that not all women that were stay-at-home moms and housewives were happy and fulfilled. Okay, a lot of them were yearning for more, including a career. So she turned her findings into the groundbreaking book called The Feminine Mystique. I happen to think that every woman should read The Feminine Mystique. I think it's a fabulous book. And it's funny because I'm a very active person. And, I don't know what to do with myself during breaks. I really don't, semester breaks. It's funny. So I remember during one semester break, I had actually checked out Betty Friedan's Feminine Mystique from the library, and I was reading it. And then, that's what I like to do for like a half hour before I go to sleep, is I like to chill and read a book. And I was reading this book, and all of a sudden I went, oh, and my husband's looking at me like, what? And I was like, you're not going to believe her theory. She had a theory in this book that women that do not work outside the home, that are housewives and stay-at-home moms, take longer with their housework than women that are employed outside the home. So I said to my husband, darn it, I am taking, longer with my housework since I've been on a break. So it's interesting. The one main flaw in Betty Friedan's work is that it was mainly geared towards white middle-class women. And keep in mind, the primary document for this women's rights movement topic is the founding document for the National Organization of Women. Okay, Chicano rights movement. Basically, the primary document you're going to be analyzing here is an article which talks about the work of the United Farm Workers and gives you background on Cesar Chavez, who's one of the founders of the United Farm Workers, and interviews Chavez. Okay, Cesar Chavez was born in Yuma, Arizona in 1927. He learned about injustice early in life because his father had been swindled out of land by some unscrupulous whites. The Chavez family had to move to California. Chavez was banned from speaking Spanish in school, and he experienced extreme prejudice. After 8th grade, he had to drop out of school and become a migrant farm worker to support his family after his father was hurt in an accident. In 1962, Chavez and his friend Dolores Huerta formed the United Farm Workers, which is still around today. The main purpose of this organization, United Farm Workers, was basically to fight for the rights of migrant workers. It became essentially a union for them. Members of this group, the United Farm Workers, went on strike to protest their treatment by California table grape growers and lettuce growers. In 1968, Chavez engaged in a 25-day hunger strike, and he was visited by Senator Robert F. Kennedy at the time. And it's interesting because later on, many years later, when he engaged in another hunger strike, Kennedy's widow, Ethel Kennedy, would visit him during that. So pretty interesting, actually. Okay, so remember, the primary document for the Chicano rights movement is an article regarding the United Farm Workers and Cesar Chavez, and includes an interview with Cesar Chavez. Okay, the Black Power movement is the last topic that we have to choose from. You got to understand that after a while, there was a split in the civil rights movement. There were those that wanted to continue down the road of passive resistance, as Dr. King wanted to, nonviolent resistance. And the other group was a group that said, look, we've gone down that road for far too long and haven't gotten many results. We need to be more aggressive to fight for our rights. The Black Panthers became a huge part of the Black Power movement. Black Panthers were formed in 1966 by Huey Newton and Bobby Seale, and they were fighting against police brutality. The primary document here is an opinion piece on the civil rights movement, on the status of the civil rights movement, the rise of the Black Power movement, and the formation of the Black Panthers. So these are the topics that you can choose from. Like I said, there's plenty of research information out on all of them. Pick the one that you feel interests you the most and dive into it. And of course, feel free to ask me any questions Remember, there's no such thing as a silly question. The only silly question is the one you do not ask. All right, everybody, good luck.